Oh, we're back. A week went by as I entered a new stage in my life. It reminded me of the action adventure RP games from the late 90s and the early 2000s where you progress through worlds and areas of the game. Starting from a hill stage and the beach stage and the sewer stage, all the way through deserts, haunted mansions, even industrial cargo ships. The first time I entered each world, I felt this rush of excitement. What am I going to see here, I think? What surprises and dangers await me? Is this how I feel as I wake up each day now and remember there's a whole new world to live in and learn about? A new world where even the things I used to do all the time become entirely new experiences. So yeah, I guess I've been playing RPGs for over 10 years, for as long as I've known Barbara. This is my first campaign. I've played a handful of one-shots but never managed to gather enough people to play consistently. Well, now that we are seeing each other all the time, our RPG tables would never lack people anymore. That's right, the three of us are, one way or another, tied together by the relationships we now share. Definitely not how I saw myself when I started this hobby, or ever, for that matter. We exchanged some RPG war stories as we grabbed the elevator towards Barbara's place. Alright, dice check. Here, dirt sheet check, stats check, all set. Except, what were we doing again? That is what happens when you skip a week! But I know you had good reason. This time, we speak as if you weren't with us darting around that Festa Junina. Anyway, don't worry, Sigurd. We can always review before we begin. I am that generous. In that case, as the newest member here, I volunteer to help with that. Which happens to be great since Kawamu is the one guiding the party last time, so let me pick up from there. Last time, Kawa reminded us the heroes met Kawamu, who told them Commander Rexus still had a nefarious plan to carry out at House Client. To get there quickly, the druid guided them through an underground passage through the mountains where they faced the troll. The current session begins as we exit the passage into the afternoon sun. We find ourselves coming out of a mountainside, the terrain sloping down until it meets a sizable settlement surrounded by pastures in the distance below. So that's House Client, the source of so much tension between the Arbold's kingdom and the Burmos Empire. Hopefully, there we will find the answers to why Commander Rexus has gotten so far as to try to kidnap us to frame a foreign nation. I've arranged to meet with a local contact just ahead before we enter the estate proper. Let's just keep going. A contact? What for? Actually, I'm not completely sure. My superiors just asked me to make sure they got to House Clan safely because they will prevent the war. They have something that is at the center of this conflict, which I promise to show you all. But what will we be protecting them from? You trek for a couple hours down the mountain, finally finding a road to follow. And a mile or so into the road, you spot a small caravan parked by a creek. An old lady waves at you and approaches. She looks to be in good humor. How does a dragon fit into its nest? I beg your pardon. It coils into a roll. Kawamu steps forward and answers nonchalantly. I see, you must be Kawamu from the Burmos Empire. Oh, that was the code? I am Batan, a local Clanton shepherd. I just returned from a trip to the Burmos Empire myself. I was instructed to meet a druid who would safely take me back to the premises of House Clant. Indeed, you must be the contact I was told about as well. Greetings. I don't know who would dare harm such a charming lady, but you are safe now that we are here. In fact, if you don't mind us asking, isn't this your homeland? Who posed a danger in this very distant but undeniably audible fanfare echoes across the landscape, interrupting and answering my question at the same time. Near the rough and still vaguely shaped features of House Clint's estate, a mass of people approach from the west. Those colors, it's the Arbo Kingdom's army! That's right, thanks to our scouts, we already knew they were less than a day away, so we stopped here instead of approaching the estate and risking everything we worked for. But why would the kingdom... Your armor. You're an Arbolton soldier, right? I don't think they share such details with the bulk of their forces. Here, let me show you what is at stake here. The Clanton lady guides us through the wagons of the caravan, where other shepherds work together to partially open the doors of the nearest wagon. It is open in the way that we get to see inside, but whatever is in there cannot easily get out. Taking a peek, we find a handful of familiar critters inside. Whoa there. We all stiffen to the sight, taking a half step back. I gather you met some of these on your journey then, and not the peaceful ones like these at that. A stampede large and intense enough to shake the ground for miles is definitely not the definition of peaceful. Though I haven't had such an unfortunate experience, I have seen the cappy bulbs before in the distance. So that's what they're called. Why, pray tell, have you such untamed creatures in your possession? What, you don't know? Have you never heard of Clant Kajutama nuts? That we have. What's the relationship between a magical nut used to craft magical instruments and these cappy bulbs? Well, you see the spikes growing out of the cappy bulb's mossy fur. The shepherd casually plucks one of the spikes out, which turns out to be a crescent-shaped nut, Kajutama nut. What? You can do that. I see! Their plant-covered fur provides an appropriate cultivation surface for the Kajutama nuts. And you Clanton shepherds tend to the cappy bulbs, growing and harvesting nuts from them. Aren't you quick-witted youngins? That's right. But how are they this docile now? It's the other way around. This is how they usually are. They only get aggressive when too many Kajutama nuts grow on them. That makes them hurt each other and causes stress. The Tom pauses to stare at the Arbolton army in the distance. The soldiers started mounting a war camp outside the estate, which seemed agitated despite the evening being right around the corner. Lately, we shepherds have been forced to greatly increase our output of Kajutama nuts, which drove many of us to overwhelm the cappy bulbs. Some herds got so stressed they stampeded away. That's what you must have found. And the reason you had to overload them has something to do with the Arbol Kingdom? I believe that is something I can clarify. Metallic voice heaves us from around the corner in the downward mountain path, followed by heavy clangs and the sound of hooves muffled by the tall grass. That is where you were, Baton. Commander Rexus dismounts a powerful-looking black mare, accompanied by a few soldiers also on horseback. Commander Rexus! You dare shoot your tin can to face! You do have a lot to clarify, Commander Rexus. Let me guess, Andres convinced you to turn on me or something? That sly con man has kept me under duress for long enough. I apologize for letting such an unpleasant side of my job interfere with your mission. Huh? What do you mean you were under duress? Lexian, I understand he's your twin brother. I have my suspicions, but either way, was not in a position to inform you beforehand. It has been a while, Commander Rexus. You are later than usual, and it seems we'll need some time to get these young'uns to calm down. You know each other. That is news to me as well. To keep things short, Arbol Kingdom's representative in dealing with House Clant. There's agreement between the two nations where Arboltons offer protection in exchange for Clant and Kajutama nuts. However, the shipments have been lacking this past couple of years. The Arbol Kingdom has reason to believe Clant has been secretly shipping off to Burmos the Kajutama nuts we are entitled to. Hardly a show of loyalty. But the demand from Arbolton has increased over threefold. Can't be helped. We need more magical instruments to deal with the recent political instabilities in the region. By that, I take it you mean the tension with the Burmos Empire itself. Itchy nose. I see they have sent their envoy. Commander Rexus, please explain it to me. What does all that have to do with Andres trying to capture us? First time I heard of that, it was probably something of his own device. Man loves his creative plans. I just gave him a job out of an old favor. And what job was that? Same as yours, investigate whether the Burmos Empire wanted to turn House Clant away from us. But If you already sent us, then why? You are official envoys, Andres, was a less traceable compliment. I couldn't afford to leave any loose ends. However, he clearly overstepped his duties, and now that I've repaid the favor, finally cut ties with that wretched thief. Well, now then, you were not trying to cause a war. I would never expose the Arbo Kingdom to needless danger. Well, we'll see about that. Seeing my brother reminded me not to trust anyone that easy, so you'll excuse our careful approach here. You youngins and your fights never get tired of each other. Why do you all think you are here? Everyone turns to the old lady with varying degrees of confusion. We are here to prevent all this bloody mess from being more than tavern gossip fuel. She then gestures for the other shepherds to bring out a different wagon. Just like the previous wagon, the shepherds partially open the side of the vehicle, revealing Cappy Bolts chilling inside. This time, however, something was noticeably different. Their spikes, I mean the Kajutama nuts growing over them, were they always this large? Wasn't their body surface denser with those nuts? That's right, these ones have larger but fewer Kajutama nuts. Using a new and experimental technique developed by Bermosi researchers, we found that we could produce larger and higher quality nuts. The drawback is that they require more surface space and take longer to grow. Our estimates, however, suggest a much larger profit on the long run. Especially if you consider the fact that the Capybles themselves are much happier and less tame using this approach. Goodness, so seems like a win-win scenario to me. No more rampaging Capybulbs that threaten innocent adventurers in search for glory. Second horn echoes in the distance, this time playing a slightly different tune. What is it this time? Means the king is entering the estate to initiate diplomatic talks. They are probably going to complain again about our lacking contributions. Except they made a point of bringing an army along. Well then, all we have to do is show them these Capybulbs with experimental Kajutama nuts, right? Yeah, with this it'll be clear the Burmese Empire is not trying to take house clans away. Indeed, what we actually want is actually a mutually beneficial relationship among the three states. With the crafting expertise of the Arbolton Kingdom, our harvesting process could improve even further. I see, that would evidently remove any reason for war. Yeah, let's take these Capybulbs to the king. Sorry, I cannot allow you to do that. Huh? Why not? That is simply not in the kingdom's best interests. What? That's nonsense. Commander Rexus, so this was your intention all along. You were never going to let us get to that estate, were you? In the name of His Majesty the King, I, Commander of the Arbolton Army, hereby declare this cargo a threat to our sacred kingdom. The Capybulbs have nothing to do with this. Stay away from them. Any that stand my way will be considered either a similar threat to be eliminated or charged with high treason and sentenced to death. No! The air is filled with the sound of steel being drawn, armor pieces grinding against each other, and magical devices shuffling to find their owner's skilled hands. I cannot believe you would rather incite war than allow cooperation between all three states. Are you really the commander who taught me to protect and support the people above all else? And are you really the loyal knight I invested so much on? Do you not trust your commander? You are the one who is not loyal here. Bringing a needless war to the families of both the Arbolton Kingdom and the Burmese Empire is an atrocity. It is not needless. The kingdom must assert its position. You Bermosi have no place here. How despicable! Did the kingdom allow such a how did the kingdom allow such a mad person to rise to such an important rank? Huh, all it took was a few filthy nobles and greedy merchant lords. They see profit in war, I see glory and justice. As long as they support the cause, I'll gladly accept their support. Of course, this nonsense does not stop with you. Alas, stop you we will. Lexin, you do have a plan as usual, right? You bet I do. I'm all ears. Don't underestimate her. Her commander rank is not just for show, despite whatever underhanded methods she used to get there. Maybe, just maybe, we don't really have to face her head on. Oh? Miss Baton, is there any room left on any of those wagons? Bye. Ugh. Too many voices. So that's your big plan. Yeah, that's right. And some B-movie thinking on your part. It's a fine plan. I was ready to go with mono a mono, but this could work. It's worth a shot. Come on, Game Master, let the dice decide our fate. Fine, jeez. So I was play out the climax of our adventure, a thought crosses my mind. Arbok Kingdom and House Clant had an established relationship, but House Clant found something new and different in the Burmos Empire. Something that would actually enhance the relationship it already had with the Arbolton Kingdom. Yet part of the kingdom saw a threat to their established position in that. They wanted an exclusive agreement with House Clant. Huh, doesn't that sound a bit familiar? I'd be a lie if I said I didn't feel any insecurity about losing the status of being the only one. I can more or less imagine how Commander Rexus felt. But that far from justifies anything she's doing. I'm never going down that path again. The three of us, we complete each other in different ways. Everyone wins here. Sounds like a shoehorned happily ever after a kid would write, but sometimes reality surpasses fiction. At least that's what this moment makes me feel. In fact, did Barbara do this on purpose? Was she trying to help us in her own mythic and symbolic way? She pets Luna on her lap, the cat staring at me. I'm reminded of the weird dreams I had over the last weeks. Could it be? Nah. I bet Barbara just wanted to give Etsuko the plot twist she asked. Anyway, the chase is on. It's time to put an end to this. Commander Rexus is on your tail! What are you going to do? Currently crammed inside one of the Capybara-filled wagons, zigzagging down the slope towards House Clant at full speed. You are not getting away! Stay back, Robocop. Good thing I had that spell to make our horses faster. Speed is kind of risky in this terrain, though. I hope we don't... Ah! That was close! How about we make it riskier for them? Kawamu begins reciting some incantations, and when he opens his eyes, spikes shoot out of the ground behind us. Most of Commander Rexus' allies retreat, wounded by the thorns, but her horse daftly avoids them and speeds towards us. Fools! Try to shoot beams of energy toward her, but few are effective. Crap, she's closing in on us. You are not coming a step closer! Ritsuke stands on the edge of the wagon and points her enormous sword at Commander Rexus. Ha! She swings her sword from side to side, drawing a crescent from the radius of her blade, effectively blocking Commander Rexus from coming within a meter of the wagon. Nice try, but... Commander Rexus changes strategies and instead circles around the carriage. Oh no, she's gonna... Commander Rexus launches an attack towards one of our wheels, shattering it to splinters. Whoa! Wagon topples to one side and drifts sideways to a halt, miraculously not turning over. Tom fails to keep hold of the scared horses, which run away. Instead, she focuses on checking on the capybulbs inside. Run! We're almost there! Without any time to think or even recover from the wagon crash, we get up and start scrambling towards House Clant. We're on the foot. How on earth are we going to outrun the Terminator? Just run! It takes only one of us to get the king's attention. Okay. Kawamu suddenly stops and turns towards the keeper of the capybulbs. Miss Baton, let me help you. Oh, what a kind young man. Don't mind me. I'll catch up. Hurry! But I have to make sure the capybulbs get there in one piece. You just make sure to grab the king's attention. Are you sure? Before they have time to chat any longer, Kawamu notices Commander Rexus has caught up with them, but... Oh, look. Move, you useless creature! Commander Rexus' horses, as effective as she was against Kawamu's spikes, can't do much about the wagon is now blocking the road sideways. Lucky us, she'll have to find another path. Use a chance to dash downhill, the public square of the Clant estate, merely meters away. According to Baton, King Arbolt should be with the Archduke Clant inside the Grand Chamber behind the doors beyond the square. However, the metallic claims approaching us let us know that Commander Rexus doesn't take too long to get past the wagon. As we get closer and closer, the Arbolton army on standby around the square takes notice of the incoming agitated group of adventurers. Who are those? An enemy attack? Within earshot of the army now, and so is Commander Rexus, likely about to order the rebels be subdued. The question now is who will be heard first. Soldiers, dot! It's now or never. I charge my staff with magic and pierce into the ground, chanting the evocation of my most powerful spell. A loud ringing noise blasts through everyone's ears, and the door to the grand chamber bursts into splinters from the spell. The shock and the cacophony are enough to leave everyone in the public square disorientated. The silence that follows the blast doesn't last long, though. A commanding voice suddenly blares from inside the chamber. Pray tell, what is this racket? Your Majesty. Your little outburst interrupted the conference between the king and Archduke Clant, catching their attention. From inside the grand chamber of House Clant, both state leaders come out with a Kajutamanat specialist. The way things were going, Baton suspected the king would not be too happy with the numbers, and the military intervention seemed imminent. Furthermore, the ringing of his ears had disoriented the army, and the mismatched party of squabbling with his trusted commander in the middle square did not help your case. It did at least prevent Commander Rexus from capturing you, now that doing so in front of the king would be very questionable. Commander Rexus, Sir Etsuk, what is the meaning of this? The remaining crowd from the chamber pours out onto the public square, filled with unrest, chatter, and shouts of outrage and confusion. This is coup. Terrorist attack. Is a war going to break out after all? Nah, was that really the best way to get their attention? Of course, they have just forgotten all about that boring meeting. Their eyes are all on us now. For better or worse, let me give you a hand. As a captain of His Majesty's service, I am here to expose the treacherous actions of Commander Rexus. Your Majesty, don't listen to a word these rebels say. The chaos intensifies, but the guards and soldiers stop in hesitation due to Etsuk's rank. Etsuk, you speak grave words. I reckon you understand what punishment awaits you should the truth not be on your side. You have exactly one chance at explaining this. Some things are better explained by showing. Here, Your Majesty. Grab one of the high-quality Kajutama nuts from my pocket and throw it to the king's specialist. Her eyes grow as soon as she catches it, feeling its weight. Turning around while looking through a magnifying monocle, the specialist approaches the king and whispers her conclusions. Where did you find this? The better question is why you did not find this until now. Lixian, you'll regret this! In a desperate attempt to stop the truth from being revealed, Commander Rexus lunges in my direction, sword first. Not so fast. X2 steps in between us and crosses swords with Commander Rexus, shielding me from the attack. Cease this spat immediately. I demand to hear about the origin of this Kajutama net. Your Majesty! Sitting for too long. The timely sound of hooves from behind us cue the arrival of Baton and her caravan, after finally recovering from the road accident. Those wagons carry a full harvest of Kajutama nuts of the quality you see in your hands. The shipment was due today, but as part of a joint effort between House Clant and the Burmos Empire. Commander Rexus tried to stop us from bringing the caravan here safe and sound. Oh, because she'd rather war with Burmos at the cost of thousands of lives, lest Arbo Kingdom supremacy be threatened by the Burmos Empire recent expansion into the region. Which, as you can see, is nonsense. All three states will prosper from this joint enterprise of higher-grade Kajutama nuts. The king keeps his eyebrows furrowed throughout our explanation and walks up to Commander Rexus after we are finished. I'll be sure to investigate what they are saying, but if it is true, then you disgrace the kingdom, Commander Rexus. And you, young adventurers, are rather bold to interrupt an international conference and teach a king on economics and politics. Alas, your point does stand. It would seem my commander might have sabotaged our agreement. Be sure to compensate House Clant and punish her accordingly if that proves to be the case. For now, however, the fact is we have an excellent harvest of Kajutama nuts in our hands. Yay! As we celebrate another year of our dear alliance with House Clant, and mayhaps a long partnership with the Burmos Empire in the near future. Barbara narrates the cheers and celebration that follow while we replicated ourselves inside her dining room. We did it, my friends! The final battle wasn't what I expected, but I gotta have a couple of badass moments. That chase scene felt like it came out right out of a cowboy movie. Very intellectual plan when the run off and bust in, guns blazing. Hey, it worked, didn't it? Well, because you got lucky. Those were some miraculous rolls back there. You always used to roll ones in crucial moments. What happened? What can I say? Lady Luck has smiled upon me. Feel a warm hand on my shoulder. That was awesome when you knew how to squeeze endless potential from all of our spells, too. Suddenly another hand ruffles my hair playfully. Yeah, attaboy. Well, you know, you guys all did great, too. Can hardly believe this is Cow and Sigurd's first campaign. Sir Owen, how joyful it is to hear those words. Zuko also totally saved my ass back there. Thanks. Anytime. And that was some pretty intricate and fascinating plot too, Barbara. Nice going. Oh, praise me more. As we rejoice our triumph for the RPG adventure, I can't help but realize and wonder, this might be one of the best days of my life. Playing one of my favorite hobbies, spending time with friends both old and new, and most importantly, sharing this moment with the other one most special to me. Everywhere I look, a smile forces its way out of me. Even when was the last time I felt my face cramping from smiling too much? Even crazier than this being the best day of my life? Because my life might have countless more days like this. Hey, Wen is totally spacing out with a dumb smile. Someone take a picture, quick! Hey, I was just... Some weight landing on my legs cuts my line of thought. Luna, you climbed onto my lap? Oh, you know what that means. That Wen has finally accepted Luna's divine cuteness? No, it means Wen is now officially and undeniably an edgelord magical boy. Once again, remembering all those weird dreams I had involving Luna, I look at her tiny, shiny eyes and wonder what she could be thinking right now. Then, humoring impossible thought, I start laughing. Guess I am after all. It's an honor to serve you, Luna. Thank you for choosing me for this noble task. Yeah. Find myself in the same old classroom from the past. Without thinking, my eyes naturally travel towards the desk I used to sit at. Scratch that. Seems like I'm sitting at it right now. My younger self is hunched over a notebook, clutching his head in his hands. Ah, familiar gesture of struggle. How many times did I go through that? Hey, what's the matter? Doesn't even look up at me. Sorry, I'll be out of here in a minute. Just gotta finish this. Need any help? No one can help me. That does sound like my edgy old self. To finish all this work, my grades are going down, I bailed on my friends, Atsuko blew up at me. Can't even make my girlfriend happy. Yeah, I know how you feel. How could you know it? What the? Finally looked at me, have you? Back then, I tried to shoulder it all by myself. I thought I was the one who had to save Nina. Only me. It didn't occur to me that it wasn't even what she truly needed. I really was just a kid. I don't understand the thing you're saying. I don't know what to do anymore. No matter what I do, you're going at this the wrong way. I also thought the only way was to keep heroically sacrificing myself in isolation. I slowly take a few steps towards this younger and more fragile version of myself. There was no time or space for anything else. Even knowing I might have found it annoying in the past, I can't help but reach out and ruffle his hair. But it was the opposite this whole time. That's right, edgelord, a baby one. Don't bully my younger self. I'm not. Anyway, as I was saying, you don't have to do everything alone. And quit punishing yourself, dude. You can leave that to me when you mess up. Actually, knowing Barbara will always beat some sense into me if I falter is reassuring in its own way. Yeah, that's right. That's right? Yeah, you may not get it now, but you'll learn how to rely on others. And you'll learn to be there for them too, without burning the candle at both ends. You'll find happiness and love in ways you never thought were possible. And trust me. You keep saying that, but you don't get it. I don't deserve any of that. Failed Nina, failed Atsuko. All I do is hurt others and get hurt in turn. I should just... There you go, putting yourself down again. Listen, it's not about deserving. Desire is what keeps us alive. If you're hungry, eat. If you're thirsty, drink. If you're tired, get some proper rest. If you're lonely, seek out others. Without that, we just wither away. No good is gonna come from getting used to the feeling of emptiness and lack of meaning. You might think that if you lay low, behave yourself, and suffer in silence, you'll be rewarded one day. In reality, the path to happiness is a way more brutal struggle than that. The thing is, it's not a battle to be fought alone. But you know that already, don't you? Yeah. Thanks to all of you. Everything I have, the person I am now, all of this forged from my connections with others. Affection, bonds, friendship, love, none of that can be quantified. It doesn't simply run out, it's something that grows as you share it. That's right, you've come a long way, Wen. Luna. Good job, Wen. You always did have a way with the words, Sir Wen. Clap, clap, clap. I'm getting a weird sense of deja vu here. You guys aren't gonna start saying congratulations! Congrats. Congrats. Congratulations! Andre, we may have hurt each other in the past. We didn't know any better. We were just kids. And what we shared is part of who I am today. So I'm glad we met. You don't have to see me anymore. Just make sure to be there for the people you cherish. She smiles. I will, thank you. No matter how much I wish I did better by her and Tsuko back then, this is where I am now, and my life is only my own. So Nina's right. I should spend every day with the ones dearest to me. Congratulations. Congrats, Wen. Everyone, thank you. Wen? Wen? An unfamiliar ceiling. Or rather, one that I'm slowly becoming acquainted with. Oh right, this must be... I think you're drooling, Wen. Oh. Seems I'm still a little out of it. How did you sleep that soundly in the 5 minutes it took me to brew some tea? Was it a tough week at work? Sitting up from where I lay on Tsuko's bed, I grabbed one of the teacups she brought. Or maybe being here makes me instantly relaxed? I smiled at Tsuko, who returns the gesture before sipping on her tea, standing in front of me. You got used to being here that fast, huh? Maybe I should lift the ban on my mom's teasing to make things interesting again then. God, please don't. That's right, I've been spending quite a bit of time at Tsuko's home. A couple of months have passed since she agreed to go out with me at that fateful Festa Junina. I have come to show up here at least once a week, and Tsuko's mom and sister quickly caught on to the fact that I am on the shyer side of things. The first night I spent here was followed by a particularly inquisitive breakfast. Managed to get some rest? Tsuko didn't kick you in your sleep, did she? Those are some cute pajamas. I thought young men nowadays were all about boxers. I guess they all share the frontal attack approach to things. However, the splash damage eventually convinced Tsuko to intervene. I must make sure the band stays. I wonder if Kawa gets the same treatment when he's around. I get the feeling he knows how to handle this sort of thing. Maybe I ought to get some tips from him? Don't worry too much about it. That's just how my mom shows affection. It means you've been accepted into the sacred Kingjo territory. Well, I guess I'm honored. Teasing aside, the lively atmosphere in this household is a far cry from my own family home. Speaking of sacred territory, you were telling me about that place you visited in Okinawa? Oh, yeah! She sits on a tray with the teacups and sits on the bed next to me. One of my favorite spots was Sefubutaki, a sacred place for the Rikokyun people. It's a shrine made up mostly of natural rock formations and the surrounding vegetation. How does that work? Let me look up some photos I took. She takes her phone out and starts scrolling endlessly. Sefubutaki has this ethereal vibe. It's so quiet and empty you can't help but let your thoughts wander. The It's like you're really connecting with... Suddenly she stops scrolling and thinks a few times before understanding what popped in her screen. Oh, Kawa sent a voice message. Mind if I put it on speaker? No, go ahead. Zuko tapped something on her screen before leaving the device on her bed so I could hear Kawa's message. Hey, it's Zuko. Maybe when. Hope you guys are having fun over there. Just wanted to tell you that I bought the tickets for that movie we're seeing Thursday night. Right, Kawa mentioned that during work today. Also, I look forward to seeing you and Wen on Saturday. I heard really nice things about the matcha place we're going to. That's it. See you Thursday at Zuko, and Wen, see you tomorrow morning. Zuko picks up her phone and taps away an answer before going back to finding photos from her trip to Okinawa. If I'm not mistaken, it was real from this time. It's a curious feeling knowing what Zuko and Kawa are up to from two different separate sources. Almost like reading spoilers for a manga, I'm never really surprised, but there is always a satisfaction seeing the pieces fit together. There's also a sense of complicity when two of us know what is coming for the third one. All in all, it's amazing that I can share the best thing in my life with both my best friend and my girlfriend. Here, I found them. Aurora showed me the photos that Zuko snugs herself close enough to comfortably hold the phone screen facing both of us. Her warm presence quickly fills my senses, and any sleepiness I had left completely vanishes. Here, this is Tefu Ataki. Photo really doesn't do it justice, though. It seems like during the Ryukyu Kingdom, only women were allowed to enter. The only exception were men from the royal family. Oh, but I read somewhere that even they had to dress as women to be allowed in. For real? Nowadays, anyone can go in, save for a few spots, like here. She zooms in on the triangle formed by rocks and taps through a few more photos of nature until we arrive at a selfie of her holding up a Sata Undagi. You look a bit more like how I remembered you from high school. Because of the hair? Indeed, she's sporting a shorter bob on the photo. I guess I started growing it out back then. Struck by an unexpected melancholy. It shows on my face because Itsuko promptly asks, "Are you okay?" It was just, I wonder if I could have seen all these different versions of you if I hadn't screwed things up back then. Looking at Zuko from a year or so ago, I feel like my past mistakes made me lose something that will never come back. Wait, didn't I just dream about something like that? But before I could even give that thought any more attention, my hand is wrapped in Itsuko's. We're here now, Win. It's like the warmth that surrounded me now flooded from our joined hands. Yeah. And to be fair, it's only because I went through all that I could find the happiness in our current situation. It's a very bittersweet idea, but if I hadn't been so single-minded about Nina, I might have never understood the importance of balancing my relationships. Itsuko and I are here now. She's right. We each took our own paths but met again after all those years. Filled with belonging and companionship, our eyes seek each other out as do our lips. Itsuko's hand slowly slides up my arm and grabs me firmly as we incline our heads to the movement of our mouths. As with many things between the two of us, matching each other's pace comfortably has been easy from the beginning. The only thing that catches me by surprise is Itsuko's strength, like how she's pushing me back even now. Finally seeking support with my free hand, I shift my weight and feel the screen of our phone under my fingers. Reflexively, I take a peek from the corner of my eye. Immediately start laughing, abruptly ending our kiss. It's a photo of Itsuko wearing a flashy sailor outfit and doing a cute pose to boot. What are you? Hey! I was not supposed to be here! Is this what they call a gap mo? I was sure I deleted this, but I guess Barbara just kept sending it again and again. Gah! She sighs deeply, still looking flushed. It was all her idea, okay? It was a dumb group costume for Carnival. You know how Barb is when she sets her mind on something? She even had Sigurd do his hair up in pigtails. Sure, I know you always wanted to be a sailor warrior. What are you talking about, Mr. Edgelord, magical boy? Get. Mental image of my own magical boy costume immediately cut my laughter off. I'm really not one to talk here. Embarrassed, we look away from each other for a few moments. Then I have an idea. Anyway, I just thought of something. Wanna go there again? I mean, the two of us, to Okinawa. Zuko's eyes widen, followed by her lips, forming the brightest of smiles. Hell yeah! Then you'll be able to visit Tefu Ataki yourself! Exactly. And it'll be a way for us to fill the gap from the years we've been apart. You know, because I'll be able to be there with you this time. Does that make sense? Tsuko smiles at me as if I said something funny. So you can say cute things sometimes? Of course I can. But that would just compensate for my trip. I know. What if we go to Taiwan too? It's not that far. We'll just be making up for lost time. Let's make brand new memories too. I blink a few times. That would be awesome. Let's do that. Yay! We hug each other to celebrate our future plans. It feels really good to know we can do all these things together now. Hey Win, how about we grab a bite outside? It's a nice warm night. Perfect idea. I was just thinking of suggesting we have something to deliver, but going outside sounds even better. Great, let me grab my things. In a matter of minutes, we're headed towards the door discussing our plans for these future trips. As we walk out into the street, the bright lights of Sao Paulo's nightlife welcome us into its maelstrom of meetings, missings, and reunions. The subway isn't very crowded. It must be because it's Saturday. Even though it's the weekend, today must still be pretty busy. Of course, we're playing our RPG campaign in the afternoon. Right now, I'm on my way to meet Etsuko and Kawa. We're going to a tea house that opened recently. It's supposed to have all things matcha related. This kind of outing is right up Etsuko's alley. I guess that Kawa knows more about tea-flavored sweets than I do. Next stop, Asian Liberdade. To get out the passenger car, I think about how the stations I used to commute have diversified over the past months. Before, I just went from my house to work. Every day felt the same, a monotonous routine with no deviations. But since I got to reconnect with old friends and made new ones, it's like there's always something new around the corner. I never know what to expect in a good way, and that's really exciting. I arranged to meet Etsuko and Kawa by the bridge since they would already be doing things nearby. Etsuko went to return a book at the cultural center, and Kawa went to take a look at an exhibition at Casa das Rojas. Rosas, something like that. I rest my arms on the railing of the bridge as I watch the avenue below. Cars and more cars on concrete strips stretching towards the horizon. Drizzling and the cloudy weather complements the landscape with even more shades of gray. Too bad I forgot to bring an umbrella. Perhaps this meeting spot wasn't such a good idea given the possible adverse weather conditions. Before my grumpiness can develop any further, I spot a couple sheltered under a green umbrella approaching. Can't help but let a smile form on my face. There they are. Hey! Etsuko is waving enthusiastically. As they come closer, Kawa covers me with the umbrella so the three of us are protected from the rain. I greet Etsuko with a quick kiss on the lips and Kawa with a hug. I hope we didn't keep you waiting for long. Nah, I barely had time to appreciate the sad, gray view of the city. I mean, it's not that bad now, the sky is clearing up. Take another look, and it is indeed possible to spot a few rays of sunlight starting to pierce through the clouds. Small patches of blue sky and new lighting bring out colors that previously seemed dull. I think you guys brought the sun with you when you arrived. If I think about it, that's not too far from the truth, metaphorically speaking. Or maybe it was because the three of us got together. This new theory fills me with a warm feeling for having been included in the equation. As the umbrella is no longer needed, Kawa closes and also leans on the railing. Itsuko soon follows. I notice that their arms are resting lightly against each other as they admire the view of the bridge. It's easy to see complicity between the two. Common sense would probably say that either I should be jealous or that I'm intruding, that I'm being left out. But what I feel right now is happiness in knowing that Itsuko is loved. The wind blows and some of the petals from the Ipe Rosho trees on this roadside fly in front of us. I take a deep breath and feel my heart surprisingly light. Itsuko turns toward me and holds out her hand. Wanna get going? I take her hand and smile. So we go our way. I take one last glimpse of the blossoming tree. Never imagined I'd be here when this all started. And it's not like I stopped being anxious about it. But with these two by my side, one way or another, we'll figure it out. It does make me wonder, is there even such a thing as a right way to love? Well, there's something I caught myself thinking a lot lately. I guess our hearts always have room for more. The end. You have unlocked a new route. Try playing again to reach a new ending. I think I'm good. I think it seemed like a good place to call it. So thank you so much for watching these videos and the series in general. If you enjoyed it, consider tossing a like, comment, subscribe, maybe click the bell for notifications. Also, be sure to check out the description below, various links, social media, Discord. Come hang out, get notifications there as well. And until next time, this is rinimt signing out. Bye!